everyone, this is Lucy from KBeautyHobbit.com. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back. If you're not new to this channel, you already know that I do a lot of nail tutorials, usually for nail strips and nail stickers and the press-ons and the glue-ons, basically all of the DIY nails. And in every video, I give you a few tips for making the nails last longer, but I thought it might be beneficial to put all the tips into one video, and I've been meaning to film this for a while, and I even thought maybe I did. Maybe I have like YouTube amnesia and forgot that I've already done it. Searched through my channel, can't find one, so it's been sort of brewing in my mind for a while, and I finally thought I'd put all the tips here in one. Now, if you do want to see a demo of hands-on nail application, see what I did there? If you want to see a demo like that, then go to my nails playlist, and I have a ton of videos in there for all the different brands: Ohora, Diva, Nailog, whatever you want, it's there. And if there's something that you do want to see and it's not already there, please leave me a comment and I will try to get my hands on some of that. I'll be mainly using Ohora as my examples in this video just because I had that laying around. It was the easiest ones to reach, but just know that these tips will apply to any nail strip, any DIY nail product like this. So don't let the brand deter you. If you use a different brand, these tips should still work for you. These are in no particular order, although I did try to arrange them somewhat in the logical order that you would do them while you're doing a manicure at home. Whether or not I succeeded, we're about to see. First things first, prep is key. You want to start with clean, dry hands. Even if your skin looks like crap and is dry, resist the urge to moisturize before you do your nails, and even resist the urge to go swimming or soak in a tub, let's say, or even take a super long shower or do dishes for about an hour before application, because you don't want your nails to have more water and more moisture than they absolutely have to. So start with clean, dry hands and nails, and then push back or otherwise remove the cuticle. I personally don't remove the cuticle at all. When I've tried a few times before with manicure scissors, it just did not go well for me, and the possibility for little nicks and cuts and infections is too high with my skill level. So I just push them back. I use a metal cuticle pusher. It's a tool like this. It's literally infinitely reusable, and it does not cost very much at all. So I would pick one up if you're going to do nails at home. I'll put links to everything I'm talking about in the description box below. Second, degrease and or dehydrate your nail. Those are not necessarily the same thing. All I do personally is degrease. I use little alcohol swabs, the wipes that I get at Costco. You can get a ton of them for really cheap, or some nail brands come with their own, but I prefer the Costco ones because they're nice and really moist with alcohol. So that's all I do. I just wipe my nail beds with that. But if you want to use something like 100% acetone to dehydrate your nails, or a brush-on nail dehydrator, you can do it. But my nails are naturally on the thinner, weaker side, so I don't really want to stress them out more than necessary. And that's also why I don't usually rough up my nail. That's another tip that I'm going to mention just in case you're the person for whom it's helpful, but I don't personally do that. I do not take a nail file and rough up the surface of the nail to give the sticker something to grip on. I don't have any problems with wear without doing that, but if that's something you want to try, if you've been having a lot of problems with your nail strips, you can try that and see if that makes a difference. This next tip is a lesser known one. I've actually never seen anybody mention this. The ones I've kind of gone over before, some other people do that, other creators are the nail enthusiasts, they all do that. But this next one I think is somewhat unique to me, and that would be to pick dark colors. Stickers like these, or like the ones I'm wearing right now, these are Nailog, by the way, they're beautiful. I love these. But dark colors are going to wear better than something that is semi see-through or even clear. And yes, you don't have to have a dark color for it to be completely solid. You can have a solid light color. That is also okay. But something like this, see how it's see-through on the bottom? And I think these ones are also somewhat sheer, at least maybe this one. Something like this is going to not wear as well as the dark colors. Why? Well, because if you did not apply these 100% perfectly, and if you start having a little bit of lifting at the cuticle side, guess what? Some little lint and little things will get in there. Maybe not all the way under, but around the edge. And you can see that when the nail is see-through, and it immediately looks like absolute garbage. Where with a dark color, if it's mostly on your nail and maybe you have a tiny bit of lifting around the edge, you would never know unless it's catching hair, but that would be more than a tiny bit of lifting at that point. but you would never know with a dark color the way that you would know with a light see-through color. The same goes for press-ons like these. These are Magic Press. It's a peel and stick. I love these. But if you have a more opaque kind of see-through cuticle end, or if the nail is completely translucent, transparent, maybe a French tip, these are going to be a lot harder to apply and a lot harder to make them look good, because if you have see-through French tips as an example, you will be able to see sometimes the adhesive through them. You might be able to see blemishes on your nails. If you got any sort of lint or fuzz in there while applying, you will see that. But if you have a solid color that is not see-through, it will look really good and like you went to a salon. Next, when you're applying your nail strips, use a rubber tipped cuticle pusher. Do not just use the little wooden stick that comes in the nail kit sometimes. Why? Because using a rubber cuticle pusher that looks like this will make sure that the edges of the nail, you would just go around, you'd stick on your nail and you just go around and push, 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 push. That makes sure that you don't have any bubbles, that you don't have any spots in there where the sticker did not adhere to the nail. This is also pretty much infinitely reusable. I've never had one break. And it's a very, very inexpensive thing. Up until now, all the tips have been applicable to the strips that need a cure and the strips that don't need a cure. If you're not familiar, there are some brands that make strips that you just apply to your nails and you're good to go. And then there are brands that make semi-cured nail strips where you put them on and then you have to put them under UV light to finish the process. Or some brands that make some of each. Well, the next couple tips are going to be for the UV cured strips like Ohora or like Dashing Diva Glaze or like Nailog. This is a new discovery for me this year and I've talked about it in a few of my recent application videos. This is amazing. It's a life-changing thing and it costs under $10. It is a squish light. It is basically a flashlight with UV in it. It's off right now with a squishy silicone topper. And after you apply your nails and smush them down real well, before you cure them, I go over, I turn this on, and I smush it onto the nails a little bit, just for a few seconds each. It starts the curing process, but it also applies pressure to that nail strip as you're curing, and it helps prevent the hair snagging. So my one gripe with Ohora, I love their design, I love how well they wear, but my one gripe with them used to be that about 7 to 10 days after application, they would start snagging the hair at the cuticle, and I can't stand that, and most of you can't stand that either. This completely eliminated that problem for me, completely. I never have hair snagging, and I've actually been using this with most semi-cured gel strips when I apply them. With the exception of Nailog, I haven't done it with these because I never have hair snagging with them anyway, so I just didn't bother. I did these recently, like a couple nights ago. So yeah, this is great. Get one. I'll put a link in the description box. Next, get a good UV lamp. That doesn't mean it has to be really expensive, and don't ask me which one I recommend because I have one that I've used since my MLM days. We won't speak about that, but I do have videos about that if you want to look at that, about my lovely time, sarcasm, in a nail MLM. But anyway, I have a nice big powerful UV light that works, but if you really want your manicure to last, I personally feel like those tiny freebie lamps that you get with purchase sometimes, that they're just not doing it. They're really not curing the way that they should cure. It's just my personal opinion. It's just this gut feeling I have after using them a couple of times. I also don't like how you can't really fit a whole hand under there. You have to do your nails separate and your thumb separate. I don't love that. They're okay in a pinch. If I have to fix one nail or something, I'll pull that out without taking out my big lamp. But I think in general, it's really good to have a big, good quality lamp that is powerful enough to really cure your strips in 1 to 2 rounds, that you can put a whole hand in or a whole foot in, and it just makes a big difference in my opinion. So if you want things to last as long as they can, get a good lamp. That's it for the UV specific tips. I still have a few universal tips. So regardless of whether you're using strips that need to be cured, like Ohora or Dashing Diva Glaze, or if you're using strips that don't need to be cured, like Dashing Diva Gloss, I highly recommend using a UV top coat. I've tried several. This one is the one I'm using currently. It's Alice & Bella. I'm not affiliated with them at all, but I've mentioned them in a few videos in the last few months because it's the one I'm using. It was gifted to me and I keep using it because I like it, but this is a one-step coat that you put on over your strips. and cure them. And I would use this regardless whether the strips need to be cured or not. The one exception is with press-ons or glue-on nails, I don't use a top coat. You don't really need that. But with any sort of strip that you need to trim, I use this or something like it. Doesn't have to be this exact one, although I like this one and it's pretty affordable, and I'll put a link in the description box. But a top coat really makes a huge difference in sealing the tips and making sure that they don't fray and they don't wear and they don't peel up or anything like that. It does not take much time to apply this, especially once you get a hang of it. The biggest thing though is cap the edge. So when you're applying a top coat, don't just paint your nails like you would just paint the surface. Make sure you get the free edge. So where you have the nail and the sticker, paint that, covering both the edge of the nail and the sticker. Stay away from the skin. That really helps it seal. And like I said, I have demos for all of this in pretty much almost every nail tutorial that I've ever done. Next is going to be a super unpopular opinion. I know it's not going to be a popular tip, and that's okay, you do you. But for me personally, keeping the nails on the shorter side really helps, especially since my nails are thin and sort of dry, unrelated to strips. It's just due to some health conditions. That's just how they are. When I grow them out too long, even if I have the strips on them, even if I have the top coat on them, yes, it helps thicken them and sort of mechanically strengthen them. It still leaves them vulnerable to some sort of mishap. Something gets stuck somewhere, gets bent, something like that. So keeping them at about this length for me is pretty good. I plan on keeping these strips though for as long as they'll last, so probably another week and a half, I'm hoping. So they will get quite a bit longer, but this is my starting point. I don't start with super long nails. With that said, if you do want longer nails, and this is something I'm playing with, I don't have a tutorial yet on this, but I will, maybe consider putting a builder gel on top of your strips. So apply your strips as usual, cure them if they need it, don't cure them if they don't, and then you can apply builder gel. I've been trying this by Cocoist Nail Thoughts. It's called NTB Clear Builder Base. This is a Japanese brand. I bought it with my own money, not sponsored or anything, but you can put that on. It makes your nails nice and thick. Cure it and then do a top coat and cure that. I've been playing around with it and it does make the nails way stronger. So I think I could actually grow mine out longer if I wanted to. If you have super long nails and you're really afraid of breaking them, perhaps try that, or maybe you already have. Let me know if you have any tips about that. And then last but not least, perhaps another super duper one of the top 2 most important tips is to not use your nails as tools. Do not be opening cans with just your nail. Don't peel garlic by picking at it with your nail, or oranges. Use other tools. Use knives, use spoons, use whatever. I even bought the little unbuckle me thing. It's like it was on Shark Tank. It's this little device that you use to press the car seat buckle button to unbuckle your kids instead of pushing in there, because it's really hard to do if your nail is longer or if you have arthritis or disabilities. That's really why it was invented. But whenever I have long press-on nails, or long stick-on nails, or even long natural nails, I use the unbuckle me to avoid having to push my finger into that button and potentially breaking a nail. Those are my best tips. That's what I personally do to make my nail strips last. I aim for at least 10 days. I'm happy with 10. Love to have 14. Sometimes I get bored. Sometimes my nails grow out. Sometimes you can do everything right and the nails still don't last because the brand is crap. That also happens. So if that keeps happening with one specific brand for you, maybe try a different brand. Maybe it's the brand, maybe it's not you. If you have your own tips, please leave me a comment. I'd love to hear from you. You can find me on Instagram at KBeautyHobbit, my blog KBeautyHobbit.com, and in my private Facebook group, Korean Beauty Fanatics. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you found this video useful. Hope to see you in my next one. And until then, please remember to always listen to your skin. Thank you so much.